I returned to hobby time because it's time to hobby. My day is at an end. My responsibilities are over. My children are in their beds. I did a lot of adulting today. No longer time to be an adult. I want to finish these. I want to finish these tonight. And I always mean for things to go way faster than they do. And when I first pulled these out, I was like, yeah, a couple days. But now it's like a week later. Got to get these done. So this week's Behind the Bastards, they're finally doing Oprah Winfrey. If you're a fan of the pod, you've been waiting for Oprah for a while now. And so I'm going to sit and listen to the backstory of Oprah Winfrey and see if I can't finish these things before it's done. An episode's usually around 90 minutes. Can I just paint 90 minutes straight? Get this done in that time? Let's see. So this is where I'm going to end. What day is it today? Wednesday night. I'm ending Wednesday night. I'm happy with the white. I have to go, where is it? Take the Black Legion and clean up all the black and then nitpick with it because it's something I always do. But these are almost done. And it's cool. But it's late. So I'm going to finish up and do the rest of it tomorrow, which is Thursday. Yeah. I'm happy with these. I like this. I like these. These are going to be fun when I finally get them in game. Brothers, I'm feeling down today. Tonight's work is going to be final touches on these things. They're about done. David Lynch died today. And I've never met David Lynch. I don't know the man personally. But I've been a fan of his work literally my entire life. And, Twin Peaks came out when I was in junior high school. And David Lynch had a definite effect on my life. And it's weird, like, I'm not like a celebrity guy, like oh, this famous person means so much to me. And if you would have asked me yesterday if I would be affected by, the death of a person I had never met, I would have told you no, but it makes me really sad. It really does. I mean, he was 78 and he had emphysema and it was time to go, but it bums me out. He's David Lynch is somebody who I deeply admire, not just his work, but his whole philosophy about who he was, and the positive energy he came into the world with. And the lessons I took for him. Again, I've known David Lynch my entire life. Like, I had an older sister who put it in my lap far before it was age appropriate. But now as an adult man, I'm very good at being comfortable being myself. And I'm also very good at embracing my creativity when it happens. I'm capable of improvising. And those are things that I could see coming from the influence of David Lynch. So that one bummed me out a little bit. Big fan. And I won't get to see any more of his work. And then the other thing that's got me down is, I'm almost 50. And I really got to be a healthier man. I really do. If I die of a heart attack, like, in my 50s, that's something that I would be upset about. If I was still alive, that would bother me. And so one of the greatest sins I commit against my health, something that I do often that is just awful for me, is instead of sleeping, I drink lots of coffee. And often I don't sleep at all, but I get coffeeed out of my head. And so today I'm on no coffee. I had I had 1 cup of coffee today, as opposed to my regular couple of pots. And that's also got me feeling pretty down. I'm not being all fucking crazy like I usually am. So, but this is what I got going on. I'm gonna nitpick at these things, and then the Games Workshop LVO preview happens in less than an hour. and I'm going to watch that, and then I'm going to go to bed early because I haven't had 2 pots of coffee today. And, but here we're at Barricades. Sorry to be a bummer. Don't want to be a bummer. But hobby streak is every day, and some days are bummers. LVO preview show. There's not a lot I'm looking forward to here. Of course, I always love seeing what they have for Necromunda. I think Necromunda is great. I will play Necromunda someday. I will have a Necromunda team and a club to play with, but not today. I'm very interested in the Emperor's Children. What most people who watch the channel don't know is I actually have an Emperor's Children army. They're just so incomplete that they will not be on the channel anytime soon. But I am very interested in seeing what comes out for the Emperor's Children, although I don't predict that there's going to be anything specific for my army. The army that I've built for Emperor's Children is very unique to itself, and it's not following any of the traditional rules. I don't want Lucius. I don't want Fulgrim. I'm doing my own thing. So here we are on the preview show, and I hate the way they do the preview show nowadays. It's so, like, cheap trash. Like, way back when they just had the 2 guys sitting at the table reading off the computer. Like, that was cheap trash too, but they weren't trying to be anything other than cheap trash. Are we going already? All right, what we got here? Age of Sigmar, I wish I cared. All right, cool. If I were to go into Sigmar, the Soul-Blight Grave Lords, the vampires, that's who I would go with. And this looks like it's either the same faction or somewhat adjacent. And they're fine. They're cool. Gruesome Honor Guard. See, Sigmar's got great models. Like, those are great models. I just don't care. Like, it is the Grave Lords. I just don't care, though. I just do not care. Fantasy, elves, dwarves, dragons. It'd be different if there was no such thing as science fiction, but in a world where science fiction exists, I do not have to care about Sigmar at all. Also, I think the paint job's doing a lot for these models. The little touches of verdigris are really well done. Oh, is this something new? What is it? What is it? What is it? Looks like more Sigmar. Okay. She's fine. Oh, hey. But there's some goodness. What am I looking at here? Oh, no way. All right, that's cool. I'm not going to lie. That's cool. That's worth it. Not on my radar. I don't have a guard army. But that is certainly very cool. And, you know, she's fine. If you're a Sigmar player, she's fine. That Commissar is pretty darn cool. Like, everybody else is cool, don't get me wrong, and I'm sure they're all characters from some book somewhere. And they're all fine, you know, the banner standard bearer is fine, the soldiers are fine, but that Commissar, that's a great looking model. It makes me want to need a Commissar in my own life. I mean, she's fine. She looks great. She got like, I like that sword she's carrying. That guy. Now, what is this noise now? More fantasy? I bet you this is old world. So I don't mean to like be the biggest nerd, but if I were to get into fantasy, I'd be more inclined to get into old world. However, I wouldn't get into old world because I've seen how much it would cost to field a model of that stuff. And I'm sorry, no, I'm not doing it. Or if I were to get into old world, I would have to buy a 3D printer first. And if I was getting into old world, I sure as hell want to go with the elves. Hey, look, it's the elves. Yay. I think I would want to go lizard men. I think lizard men would be the way. I wonder, since old world is so many old models, I wonder if you buy those for less money than new Games Workshop models. Or I wonder if Games Workshop is charging people full price for 30-year-old models. Because that sounds like something Games Workshop would do. There's something I hate about this format. Or maybe it's these two guys. Maybe I actually hate these two guys. But maybe it's just the format I hate. Like, I didn't mind it so much before when it was almost the same format, except for it was just, way more thrown together. And I wonder if it's because, like, it seems like they're trying to give the illusion of the hobby community. Look, we got a couple of bros, and we're going to sit and talk about the game we love. But they're not. They're reading from the scripts in their lap. And so if you're going to do, like, we're a couple of bros talking about the hobby, then have, literal bros talking about the hobby. But if you're going to do, like, this big advertising pitch, then just have, regular advertising. You get some cute girl to read off the card, and it's more, blatantly, this is an ad. But I think that, they're trying to pretend they're a part of the community, but it's also just an ad, and it comes off yucky to me. I don't like it. Okay, where are we now? This looks like Necromunda. That Necromunda Ash Waste terrain, I wanted that so bad. But it came and it went, and I got enough projects. Were I rolling Necromunda, those Ash Waste Nomads are pretty enticing. I like the look of those. Spine worms. That's cool. That's real cool. That's all sorts of cool. Like, if I had just a couple of Necromunda friends, if I had just one Necromunda friend, I could go real hard on Necromunda. And I love the look of the Ash Waste Nomads. But if I was going to build a Necromunda force, if I was actually doing it, I would go Delac, but I wouldn't use the modern Delac range. I would use the Delac or the old school Delac looking miniatures from Heresy Miniatures. Heresy is, a smaller company. I think all their models are in metal. But they have a Delac range that looks like the old Delac range, and the new Delac range looks very much like Dark City, Scientist, Goth, whatever. The old one was like super like 80s punk, bald dudes in black trench coats and shotguns, and I would want to bring that aesthetic back. But also, if the rat skins came back too, I would jump on that. But apparently, not apparently, obviously, the rat skins are pretty racist, but I don't want them to be racist, Can't there just be naked tan men that wear rat hides, Like, can't that be okay? I'm also, like, things wouldn't be so racist if people weren't so horrible throughout history. And, but they are, and I don't want to offend anybody. I sure as shit don't want to offend anybody with my plastic spacemen. But I thought the Ratskins were cool. If I was doing it today, I would go Delac, but I would buy my models from Heresy Miniatures. And then my second choice would be I don't know if it's a second choice, because like the Palatine Enforcers, the cops, those are hot too. Those are some cool models, and I'm into that. Yeah, this thing. That's dope. That thing is super dope. That thing would look so dope on my table. Painted just like that, maybe without the hazard stripes. Yeah, that's a good piece of kit. For sure. But also, like, I swore off Games Workshop terrain forever ago. It's too expensive. It's too expensive for what it is. There's so many, or if you're going to buy terrain, there's better companies to buy from. And, but also, you should build your terrain. Save money for your armies and your paints. But still, that thing's sweet. It is sweet for sure. Dude, they better show me more than Lucius. Yes, I've seen Fulgrim. He's beautiful. Although I'm one of those people that prefer the 30K one. He's just a little bit more beautiful. What we got here? Is it the Emperor's Children? There we go. All right. Love the paint scheme. Love the paint scheme. Look at Tormentors. Love the paint scheme. He's badass. He's badass. Look at that guy. The man himself. Ooh, that whip's gonna break. Brothers, that whip is going to break. Oh, all right. So one, that's all very cool. However, I don't need any of that. None of that is on my Emperor's Children radar. My Emperor's Children are much different, and I don't need any one of those units. And that's a shame because there's some good looking models there. Like, I may have to, like, God, I don't need more work to do. Oh my God. That's all right. My children are going to be grown. My children are going to get older. They're going to move on to their lives, and then dad's going to be home alone. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hobby. I'm going to hobby, and I'm going to paint. I might even take up some other hobbies. I'm going to be quiet. I'm not going to go to work all the time. I'm going to work as few hours as I possibly can, and I'm just going to fuck off and paint models. And in that future, that not too distant future, yeah, here come the Emperor's Children. If possible, you know, it's like whenever I turn on the news, I'm constantly being told that the world is ending. You know, Donald Trump is going to kill us all, or he's at least going to bankrupt us all, and then we're all going to burn down from wildfires due to climate change. And if that doesn't happen, the ice sheets are going to break off and drown us all. And hey, there's a comet coming sometime soon, going to be real close to the Earth. And doom, 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 doom. And for the love of God, I'm so looking forward to it. I've done it. I lived my whole life. I have fought my monsters. I have waged my battles. It is time to sit and be quiet. And if my children turn 18 and move out of my house and the world just ends at that point, it's just, oh my God, no, please let me be an old man. Like, everybody's always bummed out about, like, having to get old. I really look forward to getting old. I really look forward to the world not wanting me, not needing me, not saying my name all the time. And in that beautiful future, I can learn how to paint pink and black together. That's just hot looking. That is a great color scheme. That is just great. Again, this is not on my chaos radar, but I'm into it. That's some good looking stuff. This guy over here. Yeah, I'm into it, dude. That's, of course, like, they show you the models, and, like, mine, of course, is not going to look as good as what they're putting up there. Like, that paint job is stellar. Is that thing growing out of his head? Love the pistol. Love the Slanesh banner on the backpack. He has options. I like the other build better, though. Tormentors. These look like your tactical marine equivalents. Again, like, so the sculpts are great, don't get me wrong, but that paint job is doing it for me. Like, for real. Yeah, it seems to me like this is going to be the kit you want to buy a few of, so you can have all the bits to mix and match your parts. The Infractors. Again, they're just Space Marines taken to the nines. with just a stellar paint job. Like, I am absolutely in love with those colors. And I also, like, credit to whoever the artist was. I can't imagine that's easy to do. And I'm talking about, like, all the highlights on the black. There's a lot going on there. The face on the left is gorgeous. I love him. Also, I love everybody's got, like, speakers on their backpacks. Yeah, that's hot. That's hot for sure. I love the faces on the cannons. And again, it's the paint job. That paint job is doing it for me. It's just beautiful. Like the left foot on the right side, that pink shin guard. It's just lovely. And it pops so nicely against the black. Lucius, meh. My problem with Lucius is, like, is he really the best swordsman? Because all those dudes have had to kill him so they could become him. Like, so dude's clearly lost, like, a lot. The shoulder pad is pretty hot with the tongues coming out of it. Lots of straps, lots of little details. I think that I wonder if that shoulder pad is freehand or if that's sculpted on there. Oh, that's sculpted on there. Yeah, not my favorite model, not my favorite character. That whip is gonna break. I'm sorry, that whip is gonna break. Anytime you see Lucius on the table, someone's gonna be like, sorry man, his whip broke. But if you gotta pick Fulgrim or Lucius, I bet you Lucius is way less expensive. But I would just make my own characters because it's Warhammer. The flawless blades. Ooh, these might be my favorite ones. Yeah, the guy all the way to the left with the hair. He's cool. He's making being in chaos look good. I know these guys with their elongated domes, though. What's messing me up is we're at minute 42 now. These things are an hour long, and usually, like, the big reveal is, like, at the end, and then they just turn it off. And was that not the big reveal? Is there something more coming? God, that's a cool model. He's just cool. I love his face. I love his face. I love his backpack. Yeah, just really great model. Cause vibrations within the warp itself. That's cool. So these guys basically surgically sculpted even beyond the normal noise marine. And that amplifier on their back is a doom siren, and that basically magnifies every utterance. Yeah, you're right. It's awesome. You guys have sold me. It's awesome. Granted, I'm not buying any of this. None of this is for me, honestly. I got my own goals. I got my own plans. I got armies upon armies upon armies. But that stuff's sweet. That's absolutely sweet. All right, this is the combat patrol box. I keep seeing things that I didn't see in the previous pictures. Like, there's a lot of options on these kits, and I'm into that because there's only a few different kinds of units. So if you keep them fresh, you want to build lots of them. I noticed building Plague Marines that there's so many different build options in the Plague Marine kit, and I hope that these are similar, and it looks like they are. And also, my Emperor's Children are too far off for me to even want to buy a Codex. 11th edition, maybe 12th edition. But we'll see. I'm hobby streaking now, and hobby streaking's been working out for me. All right, this is cool. It's really nice that they're telling you what else is in the Codex. So if you want to get started early, you can get started early, and that's cool. Also, Slanesh demons are in the book. I don't know how I feel about all this. The demons not having their own bespoke codex. I don't know if that's cool or not, but I do think it's really cool that they're telling you before the release what is going to be in the book if you want to start working on your stuff now. And I dig that. I think that's a thoughtful touch. Thank you, Games Workshop. Although I'm not buying anything. I'm not. Well, okay, I guess we're done. And I guess that's cool. I guess that's cool. The only part of it that I really was into was the Emperor's Children. That was super neat, and I'm not interested in buying any of those models. But that's a bunch of good looking stuff. I am interested in painting that paint scheme. Like, I really like those colors. It makes me want to break out my chaos over. This is how I never get anything done. Like, I got to finish this project. I could almost call these done. I probably could call them done, but I'm like, are your models ever done? They could always be a little bit better. Also, the bottoms are not done because these models they chip. And so I'm making a point to make sure everything sits upright until I get them varnished, and then I'll paint over the bottom as a last step. But I could about call these done. But I could clean up some of that white too. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm all out of sorts today. I'm having an off kind of day. And I don't actually know what I'm going to do. It is Friday. My children will be home from school in a second. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon. But it is almost 40 degrees out. So I'm going to prime some stuff. And so I've glued these guys down to some card. And for easy spraying. And then I got some plague marines I'm going to do one by one. And try to get this done before I go to work today. Oh, and it's a beautiful day. Home from work. Shit to do. Cup of coffee. I gotta curb my coffee intake. I drink way too much coffee. It's not that I drink too much coffee. It's that I don't sleep enough. I'm getting older. This is one of my demons I gotta fight, but like, what is life without coffee? Like, everything I do kind of starts with a cup of coffee. And if you don't have a cup of coffee, how are you getting everything done? Maybe people are doing like real drugs, like blocaine, or that Nazi meth that conquered Europe. Can you give me some of that Nazi meth? Replace my coffee with it. Anyway, the first thing we have to do tonight, these things are broken. Here's the lens. That's got to get fixed. And then these will be done tonight. I just got to pick at them a little bit. And then I primed the refuser stuff. And let's look at all that.
You fucking bastard, I thought our love was such a disaster. I never want to see you again. You and I, you got me high. I didn't think before I spoke I'd really like just one more toke of your marijuana cigarette. You're the best man that I've met, and I really, really regret saying all those things that were not true. I'm really sorry about those things I said. They weren't true. It's all in my head. Just one more token, I'll be fine. I really want to take you for a ride in my fancy new sports car, but I don't have one. But I would if I could, so you should just give me one more hit, 'cause I don't have any grass of my own, and I really need some. So I love you and you love me, and it's all good, and things will be just the way they should. So please, 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 love song.
Okay, and now these are fixed again for the time being. All right for another day. They'll get me through work tomorrow. One more day. So I primed all those models for honey. And they're all in the box here, but I totally forgot about our Ogren in the simple green. He's only been in here for a few days, but I'm going to take him to the kitchen and get a toothbrush out and see if I can't make him ready for priming, because the cold front's not here yet. I should get him primed before work tomorrow if I can get him clean tonight. And then after his scrubbins, he looks like this. He don't look bad. Good enough to prime. And be repainted. Yeah, he's good enough. So then I started picking at him with my knife, trying to clean him up a little bit more. And he totally fell apart in my hands. And as I examined him, he wasn't put together by the original owner so well. And he'll go right back together. But yeah, dude just crumbled. It's like he fell apart all at once. But we'll get him back together. So he's back together and he's based. But he was a bear. He was really hard to get back together. He made me really appreciate all the new Games Workshop plastic I've been working with. Like those new Kill Team kits, like you cut them out and they go together like perfectly. They just slide into place. And this guy certainly did not. But he's back together, he's drying, and weather permitting, he'll be primed tomorrow. And then the last thing before I go to bed is the barricades are ready for varnish. And if the weather's warm enough to prime him tomorrow, it's also warm enough to varnish these. But these are done. And so tomorrow when I sit down, I can take these off the desk, take him off the desk, and I'd call that legitimate progress. Good night. It is Saturday at the hobby table. Saturday is always my hardest hobby day of the week because I got to close the restaurant and then open it Sunday morning, and it's brutal. But I managed to get him primed before I left for work today. So that is a big old victory. And now he can go into the box. And this is the Refusers box. Lots of stuff. We have the whole Rattling kill team, the Death Guard kill team, the Ogren, and the measuring gauges. She'll be busy for a little bit. Then, I was running late for work, so I didn't, although I managed to get the Ogren primed, I did not get these varnished. And the bummer is, we got this big cold front moving in, so I might have missed my window unless I choose to cheat. You see, I live in an apartment building, and varnish isn't paint, it's just varnish. I can always go varnish them out in the hallway real quick, you know. So yeah, I did it. I'm scandalous. I suck. My hallway will smell like varnish for a few hours, but it's the middle of the night. I doubt anyone will notice. But yeah, I'm a scandalous neighbor. But yeah, these things I'm calling done. And let's put them to the side. Hobby streaking on a Sunday night. And here's what happened. I got out of work. I fell asleep. I slept for a long time. I got up. I got real stoned. And then I sat here watching YouTube for like hours. And I've kind of wasted the night. But I got to do something because we can't have the hobby streak die. Hobby streak's got to be every day. So I got to find something to get done before it gets too late to do work. So these things are done. And first of all, I didn't put any thought into this. I really should have painted these in colors that match my existing terrain, but live and learn. But they had a hard time holding paint, and so I didn't mess with the bottom at all until they were done. Now everything's varnished except the bottom. But I want to touch up these spots of white, even though they're just on the bottom. I want to touch them up, and then I want to varnish the bottom. And then they're officially done. So that's what we're going to do now. And now that these are varnished on the bottom, I can call them done. They're done. And they can go out with all the other terrain that they do not match. And the last thing tonight is I finished him. He can go up on the shelf and get varnished at a later date. But he's done. He's used to be a blood angel. But the blood angels started letting in those lousy Primaris Marines. So he was like, fuck that. I'm a Star Hunter now. And he joined the Star Hunters. So he's cool. But that's going to be it for Sunday. All right, I'm going to start tonight with this. This is the cardstock, or this is MDF. This is the MDF terrain that came with the Kill Team Brutal and Cunning box. And I'm into it because nothing is ever quick or easy. And this is, I've only popped one piece out. It took me maybe 10 seconds to pop it out and put it in place. There are 3 frames of this, and I'm into it. I'm going to pop all this out. I'm going to get it all together, and then I'm going to move it to the other room, and I'm going to forget about it. But this is where I'm starting. And it's literally like 60 seconds later. It took me a minute to put together all of this. And it's good. It's good for what it is. Like a lot of people might be like, ooh, it's MDF and whatever, dude. I put this together in like a minute. And it looks good. It looks fine. I'm happy with it. And I'm going to go put it out on the terrain shelf. And it'll start making its way into games soon. It's good terrain. It's fine. It's fine. Even the print on it is a good enough print that it gives enough of the illusion of 3-dimensional space. Part of me thinks that maybe painting the edges black, but no, I'm not going to mess with it. That's just extra work. It defeats the purpose of this being so easy. But here it is. It's easy. It's done. It's going to the shelf. You see, I'm fueled by compulsion. I always have the things that I should do, and I sit and I look at them and I'm like, I got to get to work on that. I got to do that. And it's so hard to force myself to do things that I have to do. But then things I'm compelled to do, things that I just do, I rock out. I had no reason to start this project, and I'm not going to paint it tonight or probably anytime soon, but my hands just started going, and now they're all built. And they're nice. They're really nice, and there's more of them, or they take up more space than you would have thought 2 sprues worth would have taken up. The complaint I have is there's only the 2 corner pieces. And so you can make the corner that slots in there and that slots in there. But if you want to do another one, it's just an awkward angle because there's no corner piece there. And so that's my only complaint. So there's only the 2 corner pieces. And I would like to have a couple more corner pieces, but I suppose that's how they get you to buy the product. Like, hey, if we only give them 2 corner pieces, they'll have to buy it twice. But I'll make it work. It's cool. I still have a rattle can of gray that I'll probably hit this with, and I'll probably do everything else in like lead belcher, and again, try to do it quick because I don't want to care that much, but I'm also totally OCD. It's got fun little details on it. Like here, let's get close. What do we got? There's a skull, there's a knife, and a little power box. And then also it had, each of these pieces had a piece, see if I can find it, like right here. See the little gap there? Maybe you can't. But anyway, it had options for the walls to be broken and more breachable. But I don't want to deal with little bits about, I don't want to keep track of the little wall piece. So I just glued it all together. And in our house, you don't need to be able to open the door to be able to walk through it. You just need to, roll a dice and make sure the door can be opened. But anyway, this is what I did. And then I have one more project to get to tonight. Final chore of the night. My son and I play War Surge together. And since I have been on second shift, it's been really hard to get a game. But he has a snow day tomorrow, so we're going to get a game. Now, My son really likes the tabletop games, but he doesn't give a shit about Warhammer. And then, because he doesn't have a deep history with tabletop games, when he gets on the War Surge app, he just has this unbelievable freedom, which is really nice to watch, but he gets pretty wild. Like, this is what I'm facing tomorrow. It's one monster, and it's almost 150,000 points. That's a little absurd. But since he don't give a poop about Warhammer, I got out the fantasy models, and these are the fantasy models, and it's kind of a pathetic collection. But this is what I have to draw from, and I need to write a list, a 145,000 point list, to go face his Eldritch Horror tomorrow. And actually, it's going to be far more difficult than you know, because I'm going from scratch on all this. This phone here used to be my woman's phone, and then she got a new phone, and now I use it exclusively for War Surge. But anyway, I got a giant, I got a golem, I got some archers and some halflings, and this strong knight, and she's like an apothecary, and then some more golems and two mighty wizards, and these guys with wings, and yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I got to do something, because, like, as much as, I'm a man-child, and I spend all my time, not all my time, but a lot of my time focused on this, you can't forget that games are actually for kids. And you got to play with your kids, right? Otherwise, you're just a man-child. Hey, boy, don't play with dad's toys. Dude, that dad's a dick. Don't want to be that dad. So anyway, we're going to get this done, and we're going to play some War Surge tomorrow. I'd like to call attention to a second to this man. He comes from the D&D line, and I painted him a long time ago. Like, I painted him more than 10 years ago, easily. But I was really proud of him at the time, and as I look back on him, I'm still proud of him. He's dusty. He's a dusty boy, but I'm proud of him. And specifically, I'm very proud of his cape. I was a fan of the Song of Ice and Fire book series. Fuck the Game of Thrones TV show. But the Song of Ice and Fire books were great, and I based him on Mance Rayder and his cloak with his very tattered cloak with all the different stripes in it, and that was my motivation there. I wonder if they put that in the TV show. But anyway, I liked him a lot, and he's on the list. He's a wizard. So the best thing about War Surge is also the worst thing about War Surge, where it's just limitless, bottomless. You are only limited by your imagination. And that's super cool if you have the time for it. I really want to be able to play War Surge the same way I play Warhammer, and write my Warhammer army lists in the War Surge engine. I just don't have any War Surge friends. My son really likes War Surge. The Farseer would do it, but he and I are lucky to get a game a week. I'm not going to ask that kid to learn a new game or to give up his Warhammer game every week to, play something different. But someday if I have, War Surge friends, I really think it's a fantastic game, and they've really thought of everything. But that thing that I'm praising, that's so awesome that they've thought of everything. It's a wonderful game. It's limitless. It's what's messing me up right now. Like, well, actually, I could blame my son too, because what business does anybody have playing a 150,000 point game of anything? And getting these guys to 150,000 points, but also being like true to their characters, like these guys. They're not wearing any armor, so am I going to give them like a good armor save, And like these guys, they're stone golems. They're golems. They're going to be hard to kill, but that's about it. The characters I'm looking forward to building, like I want to make some fireball killy wizards, and Sir Talonstrong's one of my favorite models ever, but yeah, I'm struggling with this. And I have until tomorrow night. I have to sleep at some point, and I gotta go see my little lady at some point. So I'll be able to mess with it all day long. But yeah, it's kind of daunting, and it's not that I can't do it. I know that. Well, it's like painting your models too. It's never done. War Surge, because you can constantly tweak and refine and tweak and refine. It ends up being just a limitless game. I really do love it. But anyway, it's currently got me vexed. It is Tuesday during the cold front. My children are home from school, so we are going to play some War Surge. And the problem when you play War Surge with a kid is he writes his list at 150,000 points. And so I had to match a list for 150,000 points. And so what I've created here is a list of straight up gods. Just gods. Think like this is a D&D campaign. Everybody's level 20. This is where we're at. And this was absurd. This took forever. But I'm about to go get a game in. And then, of course, I had to flip the table over for today's game of War Surge and tomorrow's game of Warhammer 40,000. And then the last thing I got done was I sorted out all of the game gubbins, all the tokens and the dice. I put all the faction dice in different boxes and bags, and then all the dice without homes went into the big collector tray with all of our tokens and accessories. And it's nice to have everything organized really nice. It almost never is.